The Murder Mystery 2 Christmas event has a brand new Evo knife. You can buy this knife for Robux, but it starts off as an ordinary rare. However, if you keep this knife equipped, it will actually gain some XP. And as it gains XP, the knife will get better and better, eventually becoming a brand new ancient. So in this video, I will be buying the Evo knife and we will evolve it all the way up to the ancient tier. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and buy the brand new Evo knife, the Gingerscythe. Let's go ahead and buy it for $16.99 Robux. This is going to be insane. 3, 2, 1, and boom. There we go. We just bought it, so it should show up in a few seconds. There it is, the Gingerscythe rare knife. And obviously it's not a scythe quite yet. It seems to just be a normal knife, but obviously, you know, once we evolve it, it should become a scythe at some point. So let's go ahead and check out that knife if I can find it. Should be an Evo knife. Yep, there it is, the Gingerscythe Evo. So let's go ahead and equip the rare version since that's all we have, and yeah, let's check it out. All right guys, so here is the Gingerscythe in its rare form. This is obviously the first form you get. You get this straight from buying the Evo, and as you can see, this is a knife entirely made out of gingerbread cookie. But as you can see, this gingerbread cookie, it's not doing so hot. As you can see, the entire knife has cracks in it, making the cookie seem very old and crumbled. There's not a lot of decorations on it either. It's just kind of bland, especially compared to something like the ginger scope over here. But obviously, this is the first form of the knife, so it's obviously supposed to look pretty standard. This knife will definitely get better over time as long as we keep it equipped and gain some XP. So let's go ahead and move on to its legendary form. Alright guys, and here is the Gingerscythe in its legendary form. So you can see that it looks a lot better. You can see that the cookie is no longer crumbled. There's no cracks in the knife. It looks a lot more refined. There's a lot more frosting on the knife as well. And you can see that the knife has some decorations. We have some gumdrops on it. The handle also has a peppermint pattern as well, which I think is a nice addition to detail. And yeah, overall, still a pretty standard knife. I mean, you know, it's still just a legendary. This isn't a godly or anything, but this is definitely a nice upgrade to the rare form. This looks like a very nice legendary, very tasty knife, and it's only going to get better from here because we still have the godly and ancient forms to check out, but it is going to take quite a bit of grinding if we want to get to that point. So I'm going to have to do some more grinding to get it up to a godly and then eventually an ancient. So I will see you guys once we can see the Gingerscythe in its godly form. All right guys, and here is the Gingerscythe in its godly form. It's still not a scythe, but it is definitely a really good upgrade, definitely worthy of being a godly knife. You can see that it is a really cool scimitar made out of gingerbread cookies. You can see that it also has some frosting and some gumdrops in the middle as well. The handle also has a peppermint pattern, so you know, it's also made of candy cane. So yeah, it's a pretty cool godly. It's definitely difficult to, you know, get this knife up to godly form. We did start off with a rare and we did manage to get this thing all the way up to a godly, but we're not done yet because we still have an ancient form to check out. But overall, by its own, it is a pretty cool godly. It's always nice to just get a nice little gingerbread sword. I say the only issue with this godly is that the handle is really small. Like, when I'm holding it, I can barely see the handle. So it would be nice if this handle was like a bit larger so we can see it, but other than that, it gets the job done. Anyway, you can see that I'm actually really close to evolving this thing into an ancient, so I'll be back in a bit, and we'll go ahead and evolve this Gingerscythe into, well, an actual scythe. All right, guys, and after a lot of grinding, you can see that I finally got the Gingerscythe to its ancient form. There it is right there. And yeah, you can see all of the 4 forms, and we are going to go ahead and equip the ancient form. There it is. That looks awesome. So let's hop into assassin mode and try this out. All right, guys, and here it is, the Gingerscythe in its fully evolved ancient form. And as you can see, it is basically just a scythe made entirely out of gingerbread. It honestly looks really cool. This scythe looks massive. Now, obviously, we've had quite a few scythes in the game before, like the Batwing and the Hollow Scythe, so this is definitely not our first scythe to have in the game, but this one is honestly really cool. This is one of the larger scythes that we've seen, and yeah, you can see it is made out of gingerbread. It's got some frosting on it, some gumdrops, and the handle has a candy cane pattern as well. And of course, this scythe goes really well with the ancient in the battle pass right here, the ginger scope, you know, the sniper here. Obviously, the 2 ancients in the game go together really well. They're sort of a set. The only thing is the gun is tradable and the knife isn't, which is kind of a shame. Obviously, that's sort of the big problem with Evo knives is that, you know, they're not tradable, and it'd be very nice for them to be tradable, especially because, you know, they're part of a set that is tradable. But yeah, overall, it is a pretty cool knife. And like I said, if you want to get it all the way up to ancient form, you gotta get a lot of experience points. And it's a pretty cool Evo knife. I'd say the only problem with this Evo knife is just the name, you know, the Gingerscythe. Like, obviously that applies really well to the ancient form, but all these other forms are not scythes, and I'm not saying that they have to be, but they should probably have different names. Like this Evo right here, the Ice Crusher. You know, I feel like the Ice Crusher is sort of just a universal name for all of these knives. Like, if this was named the Ice Hammer instead, I feel like it would be a problem, right? Because these aren't hammers, except for the ancient. That's why I feel like Ice Crusher was a better name, because it could also apply to the other forms. And of course, the Reaver is the same thing. You know, it's just called Reaver, so I feel like all of these names can work. The Gingerscythe really only applies to the ancient, so I probably would have changed the name for this knife. You know, obviously it wants to fit with the Ginger Scope, so I probably would have named this Ginger Slayer. I feel like Ginger Slayer still goes pretty well with Ginger Scope, and again, it's a more universal name for all of the forms. I think Ginger Slayer would have been really good. But yeah, pretty cool Evo. This is actually the second time in a row that we got an Evo knife for the Christmas event, and we have not gotten one in Halloween for a while. I don't think we've got one since 2021, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get one next year. We'll have to see what happens, but I guess it's more of a Christmas thing. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys, and we are pretty much done with this event. Actually, we got pretty much everything. You know, the only thing that we are missing are the 2 chromas that are in the game. Again, there are 2 chromas this time, because we can get a chroma of this gun right here. But other than that, we've done pretty much everything this event has to offer. We even unboxed the normal godly. And how is this leaderboard looking? Okay, that's not terrible. Tomorrow, we may or may not be live, giving out presents on live stream. If that does happen, I will schedule the stream ahead of time. So, you know, check the channel. You should see the live stream schedule. I feel like that makes more sense to schedule the stream so people can be ready. But if we do go live, it will be tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Cheers.